and I borrowed a Tesla a couple of days ago, and that was for the kids. I don't know why, but the kids absolutely love Teslas. So to be taken to school in a Tesla was just like the coolest thing in the world for them. But
you're talking about how you plan a journey with an electric car, and how you can't just go, oh yeah, I'll spin down when you've got 60 miles. And it's like, because you're like, oh, but it's 40 miles there and back, and I've got 60, and there's a bit, but if I turn the heating and this, it's really stressful thinking about when you've got diesel, like you said, you just drive down, you go down to, oh, there's a petrol station, right, fill up a little bit and then drive home. But when you got an electric, it's very stressful. You're like counting the miles and like,
yeah,
can I do this? Can I not? How far can I go? Oh, turn down the heating a little bit, turn down the fan a little bit.
It's a different way of doing things. And I was always fairly good at English at school, terrible at maths.
Same.
So I'm naturally not going to be very good. I'm extremely disorganized. I'm very chaotic. I like to be spontaneous, and I can't do maths. So I am genuinely the worst person possible to have an electric car, where you've got to wake up in the morning and go, I've got 300 miles range today. I've got to go and do this, and then I've got to go and do that. I'm going to have to charge there for 45 minutes, and then it doesn't work for me at all. We get right, diesel, 60 quid, job done, sorted for about 4 days, even with all the running around I need to do. So no, for me, it's not. It's the lifestyle, and there's a lot of people that are true electric car advocates, and I get it. Some people are very good at maths. Some people like spreadsheets and running things, and being very organized and planning stuff. I don't.
So one of the things I thought originally, electric cars sounds great. Yeah, fast, it's smooth, it's like Tesla and everything, but I've also come to realize that it's one big massive battery, electric charge, and now I'm becoming more aware of things like how we're made of electricity, magnets, light, and we're bombarded with these electromagnetic frequencies. This must be doing something to our bodies. And, is it healthy? Is it safe? So it does make me nervous, electric cars. And also then I think, how wasteful, because it comes to the end of its life. You've got all these batteries and chemicals. This idea that it's a green thing is a bit of a lie. There's nothing really green about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you start looking into how they're made, and obviously it's got to be, the materials have got to be mined for the battery, and then all of those have got to be processed. There's questions about all of that, and then it's got to be put on a cargo ship and sent across here, because a lot of them are made in China. And you start looking at it and you think, hang on a minute, this doesn't work from a green environmental point of view. So then why the big push? If it doesn't take much digging, pun intended, to find that the green thing behind the electric cars is just a smokescreen, then why the big push? And you have to go, well, it has to be about control, because you can't own an electric car and not have a smartphone. You can't own an electric car and pay cash when you're charging. So everything has to be connected all of the time. And this was my sort of takeaway from my time with the Tesla. It's like, it's great and everything, but the car is useless without you constantly being connected and constantly being, almost in direct contact with the dealer, because any sort of software fault or anything, and you're out of action. Everything is electric. Everything is digital. That car is constantly recording every single parameter about what's going on. It might not tell you on the screen. You can guarantee that's recorded somewhere, and all of that data is stored. Now, what's all that data being used for? It's very, very interesting. So you've got, this one card or this app on your phone that gets you in and out of the car. My point was, well, we're going to get to a stage where, oh, my app isn't working today because I said something naughty on social media last night, and now my car won't start. And it for many people,
well, that is very real, though. I can see that happening. I mean, that's totally going to happen. I mean, it's happening in China already.
We've seen the way the world behaved during the lockdowns. We've seen the red and green lights on the supermarkets. We've seen the barriers. We've seen the 2-meter social distancing. We've seen the security guards on the door at your local supermarket. It's not a far stretch to say that there'll come a time when like I said, you'll say something on social media and your car will be disconnected. And I just feel like everything that's going on at the moment in the car world, I stick to cars because it's what I know. I know a lot of bad stuff is going on elsewhere in the world, but cars is my little bubble. But I can see a lot of stuff going on in cars that is headed that way. Everything's about control. No one really seems to be standing up for the motorist, and not many people seem to be connecting the freedom that, we discussed on the phone earlier on, the freedom that you have in owning a vehicle that you can chuck 60 quid's worth of diesel in and then drive it 4, 5, 6, 700 miles. And you can't do any of that with an electric car because, your electric provider, for one, always knows where the car is and how much charge you've got. And you're constantly connected to everything. I find it all a little bit scary, the ongoing creep of this kind of digital dystopia that's coming towards us. But for many people, it's just like, oh, well, it's a company car. It didn't cost me anything. It's a lot cheaper for me to own on tax. And I think they're great. It's like, you don't see any of the other bad stuff. And a lot of people don't. They really don't see it.